Welcome to Business Connections, a program put on by the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. My name is Holly Allen. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. Among the many benefits we offer our 2,500 members are savings on things like health insurance, workers' comp, even gasoline and electricity. But we are offering a new program to our members, and that is the topic we're discussing today. So I want to welcome our two guests today to give us a sneak peek at this new program. We have Scott McGohan with McGohan Brabender. Thank you for being with us. And Matt Appenzeller with the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance, also known as SOCA.
That's correct, yes.
Thank you for being with us, both of you.
Thanks.
I want to talk about this new program. Like I said, we offer for our members a myriad of ways to save money with business expenses. One of those major expenses for a business owner is health insurance. And we've always offered through Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield, a health savings program, health insurance savings program. But this is new. This is called the SOCA Benefit Plan. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
We've always referred to it as a MEWA.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, can you tell me what that means? What is this program all about?
Sure. There's actually two parts to your question. So the SOCA benefit plan is a medical benefit plan designed for employers of 2 to 50 employees. It was constructed in such a way to provide those small employers an alternative to the upcoming community rating rules, which will be in effect in 2018. Scott can probably talk a little bit more about that later. Mm-hmm. The plan is going to be governed by trustees, but Anthem is functioning as both the claims administrator and the reinsurer for us. So that's the first part of the question. The second part of your question, what's a MEWA? It's a multiple employer welfare arrangement. And typically, industries have been able to form MEWAs, and the members of that MEWA sort of revolved around that industry. An example might be the Ohio Car Dealers Association used to have a MEWA. Mm-hmm. In this case, there have been some changes to the law in the state of Ohio that allow for members of chambers of commerce to join in the MEWA. So the commonality there is membership in chambers of commerce.
Okay, and we're going to talk, you touched on a lot of things that we're going to dive into a little bit deeper. Scott, so McGohan Brabender, explain to us what you do first, and then tell us, how does this program bring savings to a customer, to a business?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So McGohan Brabender, we serve about 1,200 employers between Dayton, Cincinnati, and Columbus. We always say it's about 100,000 employees, where I like to refer 250,000 belly buttons and almost $1 billion of healthcare spend.
Okay.
So our vision is to empower business with solutions, empowering people with choices, then ultimately empowering healthier living. So delivering healthier birthdays to people.
Okay.
And you're exactly right. I mean, the burden of healthcare on employers is immense. Mm-hmm. And the impact of the Affordable Care Act doesn't make that much easier. Mm-hmm. So one of the reasons that this MEWA is so important for smaller employers is what's referred to as the impact of age-adjusted community rating. And obviously a business owner wants to wake up every day and grow their business or grow their product and grow their people and just get better at that every single day, and they don't want to be harnessed with all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. But the impact of age-adjusted community rating can be pretty significant for small employers. Mm-hmm. So the Affordable Care Act says really if you have over 50 employees and you don't offer health care, there's a $2,000 penalty for not offering it. If you're less than 50, there's no penalty.
Okay.
So there's a lot of employers that say, well, I'm not really sure the Affordable Care Act impacts me as much as it impacts larger employers. But actually it does. It's just been delayed and delayed and delayed. Over and over.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we've seen that.
Yes.
The delays keep coming.
Exactly. And the impact of the Affordable Care Act, I mean, without a doubt, I mean, it is definitely dysfunctional. Mm-hmm. But I also think that doing nothing was equally as bad. So there are some positive traits to the Affordable Care Act. Preventative care, access to health care for people with no pre-existing conditions, very powerful. Keeping dependents on your plan to age 26. Which I think is a really valuable asset to us and employers, and quite frankly, us as Americans. I think it's the right thing to do. Now, have we figured out how to pay for that and all the mechanics behind that? That'll take some time. But getting back to the smaller employers, so those employers less than 50, historically, under your program today with Anthem, and Anthem's a great partner of ours, and we've represented the Chamber product with Anthem
Right.
for decades. They're a terrific partner, and
Yes,
the Chamber's
so
been a great partner of ours.
Long-standing program.
The insurance company would look at a variety of different issues. They would look at your health, they would look at your weight, they would look at prescription drugs that you're on, they would look at the health conditions. The Affordable Care Act kind of took that all away and said really the only thing that an insurance company is allowed to look at would be your age, not your gender, your zip code, and your family status. So do you have dependents on the plan?
Okay.
So what does that mean? So typically, if you're fully insured today and you're less than 50 employees, the impact of age-adjusted community rating, which is an insurance term, which people don't like because they don't understand it. Most studies say that when that comes into play in 2018, if it comes into play.
Right. So that's the date we have now,
Correct.
2018, when this will all
Yeah, it was
happen.
October of 17. It was
Right.
just delayed until 18. That 60% of small employers across America will receive a 50% or greater increase
Wow.
in their healthcare cost.
Wow. And because this is already such a huge chunk of their expenses, that's a big increase for them.
So what the MEWA does is the MEWA, because inside of the MEWA, it's a self-funded program that Anthem backs.
Okay.
So Anthem is the partner in that. They need Sokka and Matt and his team and the chambers as a conduit to that the insurance company is allowed to look at things like health status. So they're able to create a healthier pool.
Okay.
So if you're a really young employer, you have a lot, you have people like you that are young, then the impact of age-adjusted community rating could really affect your business.
Right. Okay.
If you have an older population, like me,
I was.
age-adjusted.
I didn't say that.
I know,
But
but age-adjusted community rating could actually help you. So the impact of the Affordable Care Act could help you.
okay.
So really, what this is, it's really an option for small employers. So it allows some flexibility.
Right. Okay. So they're creating a pool of their own that might they could adjust that pool to
Correct.
benefit
Yes, that's
them.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that leads me back to Matt here because so I introduced you, said you're from SOCA. SOCA is kind of an alliance of chambers in
That is
our
correct.
region. Tell me about your organization, who you represent, and why did the Chambers of Commerce want to get involved in something like this?
Okay. Well, the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance is, as you said, an alliance of 104 chambers of commerce in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
We negotiate benefits to offer them to mainly suburban and rural chambers so that they can in turn offer them to their members. And what we try to do is drive down business costs and help the chambers drive membership at the same time. As far as the chambers wanting to get involved in this, 3 years ago when this law was passed, we were all sort of scratching our heads with, okay, what do we do now to help our small businesses? And quite frankly, we kept inquiring. We met a few people around the state who were interested in doing this kind of thing, and just sort of all fell into place. With some discussions with Anthem, with some people up in Cleveland with the Alpha Group, with McGohan Brabender as well, and also with a organization that's similar to ours up in the north called the Northern Ohio Area Chambers of Commerce. So getting all of those parties together and just sort of hammering it out, this is what we ended up with.
So this is a benefit for those smaller businesses, as Scott pointed out. So 50 employees and below, that maybe the traditional offering we had through Anthem previously may not be as big of a benefit as something like this. So this is a new offering.
Yes, that's correct.
So Scott, can you explain to me, I know you talked a little bit about how different this is from the traditional program. How does this work differently? You alluded to it, but how does this separate pool work differently than the traditional program that we've always offered?
Yeah, so the Affordable Care Act really said that insurance companies have to obviously file rates. There's standard plan designs, so they call them metallic levels, so a bronze plan, a silver plan, gold plan and a platinum plan. So they've really standardized healthcare. So they've standardized the plan designs.
Okay.
They've also standardized the cost of that healthcare. And what they've also done is standardize the rating of those programs. So prior to the Affordable Care Act, if you were 26, your rate might be $100. And if you were 65, your rate might be $800. So there was a ratio of about 8 to 1.
Okay.
Obviously, the older you are, possibly the more health care you're going to use. The younger you are, potentially less. So the Affordable Care Act really said we're going to take away the 8 ratio and really drive those down into 3 ratios. So a 3 to 1 ratio. So a 26-year-old might go from $100 to $300, and a 65-year-old might go from $900 to $650. So if you love it, if you're older, you love it. If you're younger, you don't.
Right.
And obviously what we need to do is attract the younger workforce into the healthcare system to help pay for all of this. So in 2018, if this goes into play,
Right.
And if that happens, if you're fully insured, you're subject to age-adjusted community rating, so the 3 to 1 ratio. And in our opinion, is that's an attractive offer for groups that might have an older population.
Okay.
So I would say groups that have an average age inside of their group of maybe over 43 or over 44.
Okay.
They could actually save money.
Okay.
So that's an opportunity that actually the Chamber has today.
Right.
This option allows maybe younger groups or groups with very healthy workers to say, let me try to see if I would qualify for a rate based on the health of my workforce.
Okay.
So if you're a smaller company and you're really intentional about wellness and strategies, this could really benefit you.
Okay. So those are the things you'll be looking for, your team will be looking for when a business approaches you. So you're looking at age, the size of the business, the health of their employees. Am I on the right track there?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if they seem to be on the right track, this might be a good program.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so my guess here is that the Chambers of Commerce, this is why this partnership makes sense.
Absolutely.
Because you have the businesses that Scott needs, that Scott can help out with
Absolutely.
this program. Can you tell me about how you're getting the word out to the businesses besides shows like this, and how this partnership is working with so many chambers across the area?
Yeah, well, first of all, getting the word out has been a challenge. Thanks to people like you who invite us onto shows like this. It's very helpful. But we do have some regional seminars that are coming up. We have one that's in Inglewood, one in Sharonville, one in Sydney. Then we also have one in Columbus and also one in Lima. And we'll be spending the next 2 weeks doing all of those, so we're spending a lot of road time getting the word out, not just to the small businesses, but we're inviting the chamber directors as well, so that they can in turn spread the word with their chambers. We've already done some broker training with the Anthem elite and champion brokers throughout the state. Toledo, Cleveland, Youngstown, we did all of that. And then we're just going to try to use our annual meetings that we have to do a program there. SOCA's annual meeting is on May 18th. NOAC is on April 29th. And we'll try to promote it just through our normal means, through the brokers and through Anthem.
Right.
There was a second part to your question that I can't remember. The chambers.
Right,
yeah, the
right,
chambers.
right.
So here's, just as a chamber guy, this as a former chamber director, this is what's really exciting to me. You've mentioned a couple times, Holly, the Anthem program that currently exists. It's called the Chamber Saver. And that has existed in several different markets. The Dayton area chamber has had a market. SOCA has basically had one in the Cincinnati area. The Central Ohio Chambers of Commerce have one in Columbus. I've mentioned NOAC, they have one up north. And then you also have the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber, and they have had their own thing. Under this plan, we're sort of merging all of those entities to be able to fall under one umbrella, the SOCA benefit plan. And so instead of having those different areas operating independently for a plan, we have one big plan with 270 chambers of commerce, all pulling in the same direction for small business, and we're really excited about that.
It seems that that's an unprecedented sort of setup. Is that true?
Yeah, well, I certainly don't know of anyone who's done before.
So the idea is to create a large pool of these businesses. Scott, the larger the pool, does that help those who are involved in the program?
Well, just because you add more belly buttons into insurance doesn't make it less.
Okay.
So the actual, when you're able to look through the lens of the health of the workforce, and obviously you're trying to attract the healthy workers.
Right.
So yeah, when you can bring that to the table,
Right. Okay.
it can be a significant leverage. And and honestly, I mean, we've had significant help from the Ohio Department of Insurance. It was really important to Anthem, very important to Ohio, because the impact, if we didn't have a solution, then smaller employers wouldn't want to move to the state of Ohio. So you would think that
That's a big
potentially younger workers or employers that might have younger workforces, it wouldn't really matter. Actually, it would matter. So the older workers, it wouldn't matter because the age-adjusted commuter rating kind of protects them. So the younger workers, actually it would. So once employers in 2018, if this happens and goes into, is fully deployed.
I like how you always say if. You
Yeah.
always have to
Gotcha.
qualify it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things too that's really important is, the Affordable Care Act is. There's a lot of people that talk about it on both sides, and a lot of people talk about it in regards to fear, right? So scaring employers, scaring employees, scaring people, and we're just a better country than that. We're better people than that.
Right.
And we can solve really, really big problems if we're just honest about it. So, having the state of Ohio say, hey, we really want to embrace this. Having a company like Anthem say, we want a solution for small employers. And then organizations like SOCA, like the Dayton Chamber of Commerce saying, we want to do something to impact our members, to lower their cost. So like I said, they can get back to what they do, what they love to do.
Right.
And that's grow their companies.
And I'm sure that's not choosing an insurance plan.
Exactly.
That's not on the top of their
No.
favorite thing to do list.
It's not.
No, that's why you're here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is not. And the other thing too is there's a lot of other members of the Dayton Chamber that are brokers that do what I do, that can talk about this program in the same light. So it's just
Right.
not McGohan Brabender. It's other firms in Dayton. And Matt had brought this up too, that with Anthem that have been identified as champion and elite brokers with Anthem.
Okay. So that's where I was getting, that's where I was going. So who can put together a program like this? Other agents like you. We know McGohan
Correct.
Brabender is one of those. So tell us again what requirements an agency needs to have to be able to put together something under this program.
Yeah, the brokers, probably Anthem can just distribute a list. So they've distributed a list to the Dayton Chamber of Commerce of brokers that qualify. The largest of your members, the members that participate. I mean, I love what I do, but I also know there's other really good firms out there. Like Brower, who's now Marsh, and like Horan inside of Dayton, and other firms inside of Dayton can do the same thing that we do.
Right. Okay.
So they can offer their members, that are members of yours, and clients of theirs, this same strategy and the same plan.
Okay. And Matt, what kind of requirements, the chambers are involved, so you have to be a member.
Yes.
Can you tell us what the requirements are to get involved in this program?
Yeah, before I answer that, let me just touch on what's Scott's
Sure.
point here, that the brokers, the Anthem Elite and Champion brokers, the list that we have is about 112 brokers throughout the state. that
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
So the requirements are pretty straightforward. You have to be a member in good standing with a Chamber of Commerce that is qualified, or authorized to offer the SOCA benefit plan. You have to be a business of 2 to 50 employees, and we're just going with W-2 requirements on that. And that's really all you need to be able to start talking with a
not
broker
hard.
about whether or not this is the right plan for your business.
Excellent. So probably, if a business is interested, should they call their broker first, or should they call the chamber, or does it matter?
They should try to contact an Anthem Elite and Champion broker. If they don't have one in their area, certainly they can go to our website at joinsocka.com or give us a call.
DaytonChamber.org as well.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
Dayton Chamber, just talk to your local chamber. We'll get the process started for you.
Sounds great. So, as I said, this is a partnership between the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce, SOCA, and Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. So this is a big group of organizations in our area putting this together, and the end goal here is to benefit these small businesses that the ACA might have, I don't want to say left behind, but left in a tough position depending on what their situation might be. So if you hear about this program and you want to get some more information, as both Matt and Scott said, you want to reach out to either a broker, your broker, or reach out to a chamber, and you can get some more information at daytonchamber.org. And I want to thank you so much for being with us today. I am Holly Allen, Director of Marketing and Communications for the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. You can always follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and Facebook. We're out there on social media, and daytonchamber.org. Thanks so much and have a great day.
Employee health care continues to be an important benefit for employers in their ability to attract, retain, and support their employees. But the cost of health care is a continuing concern for employers. The Affordable Care Act was to resolve much of those concerns, but actually it has not reduced health care costs for very many. And now with the exit of United Healthcare from the ACA-developed exchange marketplace, many feel access to care will be significantly hampered. One of the most recently developed products for employers in Ohio by Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield is the MEWA program discussed today by our two experts, Scott McGohan of the insurance brokerage firm McGohan Brabender, and Matt Appenzeller, Executive Director of the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance. Matt's group, SOCA, and Scott's firm, along with Anthem, have developed a new healthcare plan for small businesses that can pool employer members together and create for many employers substantial premium savings that are not subject to community rating increases. I applaud this new creative product, one that our chamber is a partner, as a unique opportunity for small businesses to continue to offer health care as a key benefit to their workers. We hope that you've enjoyed this very informative program today on yet another innovative aspect of healthcare in the marketplace.